What is going on, guys? We're back. I'm your host, False Swipe Gaming. We're here today with another very professional video for your watching enjoyment. I'm not alone, though.
Yo, what is going on? It's me, Blunder, the greatest battler of all time. It says so on my play button.
So on my plate facts. What's good, guys? They don't know that me and you be collaborating a lot. We be playing Smash. We be tapped in. So, guys, we have a great video today. I hit up FSG. I said, dude, it's the new generation. You know what time it is? It's time for us to put together another classic. It's been a while.
Yeah,
It's been a long time. It's been a long time since the Ice Types video.
In this video, we're going to be talking about the mons that got new Paldean forms, and we're going to be comparing them to their original counterparts.
Yeah, this is definitely one of the coolest things of the new generation. I always love new forms, regional variants, etc., etc. That's like probably the most fun thing in Pokemon for me.
So technically, there's actually only 2 Paldean forms, but there are 2 other mons that are clearly based on older mons, so we'll be counting those 2 as well. Also, as a heads up, we do have a video on Blunder's channel going over the past Paradox forms. So if you like this video, be sure to check out that as well.
So I guess, should we just start off with the family of Tauros?
Family of Tauros, there are 3 of them. One of them is bound to do something different, right?
There's 3 of them. You throw 3 darts, one of them has to hit, literally. I mean, we see Tauros since Gen 1, right? He was the GOAT of Gen 1, and then we never saw him again.
Yeah.
So I just assumed he was going to be bad like before, but no way. It's awesome that they finally, 8 generations later, now they gave him 3 new ones. They're all different fighting types, good ability and intimidate, and they changed up the stats enough to where it's different than regular Tauros. These are a little slower, but it's bulkier, and they still keep the same amount of strength. So I like that a lot more because I used to run regular sheer force Tauros back in, Generation 8. That was pretty fun. But now you can actually really get a lot out of defensive, I think. Like fighting water and fighting fire, and even pure fighting are pretty good typings defensively. The fire type one has Will-O-Wisp. Like they all have access to body press too. So, I don't know, it's pretty cool that Tauros went from just being some fast attacker to, I think bulky sets are really viable now. And that's kind of what I've been using myself.
Yeah, and it's really cool because I feel like the fast attacker role, there's like so many that are just straight up better than Tauros.
No, yeah, for sure. It's pretty cool. I mean, the typings are good, right? We've seen Fight Water before. Gen 5, we had Keldeo. Later on, we had Urshifu, Rapid Strike, and both of those were like 2 of the most amazing mons in their respective metagames. Obviously, Tauros is, not as effective, but I think it's a good mon. It's an unexpected mon, and the moves are really cool. I gotta give a big shout out to that move, Raging Bull. So it depends on your typing. So if you're a fire type, it's 90 base power fire, and if you're water type, it's 90 base power water. And it breaks past Reflect and Light Screen, just like Brick Break would do. So I think in a current, metagame, I don't know how common screens is in doubles or VGC, if it is at all. But I know in singles, dual screens from Grimmsnarl is one of the premier strategies right now. Use one move, and you really can't block this. So I like Raging Bull quite a bit for that reason. It's just good to have support, I felt the same way with the Fire Tauros being able to spread Will-O-Wisp and whatnot. Blissey doesn't have Heal Bell anymore, right? So a lot of teams, they have a lot of trouble being able to switch into burns and that kind of thing. So I like it a lot.
Also, I remember you mentioning that the Fire Tauros was good against Qianpao and King Gambit.
Yeah, Qianpao and King Gambit. So a lot of these really strong physical dark types that got introduced. Tauros can really beat them badly. It has a really tough time, those 2 ever breaking past Tauros. Like, they don't have any move, and walling the double stab is perfect, so yeah, I like Tauros a lot for that. He also can't get burned by Will-O-Wisp or anything like that himself, so can't really residually damage him. Stuff like Toxic is less common now, right? Because they took it away as a TM, so it usually sticks around for the majority of the battle. Like, it's hard to, residually chip away at him, which I like quite a bit. Mainly for the Paldean Fire one, I run heavy-duty boots. Just because, Stothrock and spikes and all that stuff. It's just better for that. But I have been testing out running it with leftovers in combination with Magic Bounce. With Hatterene or whatever. Because it is really nice to be able to run leftovers since knockoff is not as common anymore in this metagame. You don't really have to worry about losing them. If I could rank them, from the best to the worst, I would say the firefighting one is definitely the best. Then the water fighting, and then the regular fighting. That's what I would say. I mean, a lot of times with Tauros, I find myself switching in on even defensive Pokemon like Ting-Lu and whatnot, because I can just spread a Will-O-Wisp and, you don't really take no type of damage. So, ultimately, yeah, I think Tauros has found a really good defensive purpose in the current metagame.
Next up, we have Clodsire, the GOAT.
The GOAT.
Who is a Paldean form of Quagsire, who has historically been one of those weird niche mons, Like, it has Unaware, and it's just a generally goofing mon. And you bring it into Sword and Shield Ubers because it's like, oh, we need something to stop Zacian, right?
If you cover Quagsire's typing and ability and you just look at the stats, it's the biggest head scratcher as to why this thing was ever good. But it was damn good for 4 generations straight. So he just does his job, right? Usually they run physically defensive on Quagsire. It's just easier to take on Swords Dance Pokemon that way. And you can go full Spadef, but his Spadef is really not good even with full invest. Like, you'll still get to a KO by the most common moves like Hydro Pump, Draco Meteor, that kind of thing. So for the most part, yeah, always physically defensive. Well, back then at least, in Generation 8 and 7, you know, you can switch into +2 Garchomp, Earthquake, or Outrage really easily. Same with Dragonite, that kind of thing. So physically defensive is usually the best set. Unaware can never be bad. Yeah, it's pretty awesome that they gave it to Clodsire too. This one's actually way crazier than Quagsire. Like, when I saw his stats, I was like, whoa, they really made the new Blissey. they really made the new Blissey. Like, this is awesome. Because, like, you look at his stats, right? 130 HP, 100 special defense. Like, this thing is really nasty. Poison Ground's awesome typing, too. Anything that can't get, like, poisoned is just so nice on a defensive type Pokemon, you know?
Right.
Plus, Toxic has lost distribution, but Claude normally gets it through level up, I think. So that's really nice. You can Toxic there. It has access to Stealth Rock, Spikes, Recover. I mean, even Quagsire regular got Spikes and Stealth Rock, but Clodsire just does a really good job of it. And to give you, like, an idea of this guy's special defense, I was running full special defense Clodsire, and I had Water Absorb at first, which is another great ability. I just think Unaware is probably superior, but I had Water Absorb to deal with Rotom Wash. And then I switched it in once, and I had Unaware on accident, and Hydro Pump did 42%. I mean, I don't even need a Water Absorb. I can just switch this guy in and Toxic Rotom myself, and I win the 1v1. It's crazy how it works, yeah. Water Absorb, I do think, has a purpose. Unaware is just more often than not going to be way better for you. Like, I would say at least 80% of the time, Unaware is better. But Water Absorb, it just depends on the team. Like, I ran a Rain team one time, and I had Clodsire in the back with Water Absorb just because the team was extraordinarily weak to water moves.
It's not a water type anymore.
Exactly, yeah. So it was very nice. Like, I ran up against one guy with, like, a Rotom and a Quaquaval, and it would have been really bad if I had Unaware, I think. But instead, I had Water Absorb, so he really couldn't do anything. It just kept coming in and walling everybody. So definitely depends on the team, but mainly for Clodsire, is Toxic, Stealth Rock, Recover, kind of like what Quag used to do, just a specially defensive version. And it gets hazards, which is awesome. And it's good in this particular metagames, you know, where Golden Go, Chi-Yu, Pokemon like those are just so strong on the special side. And this is like another alternative to running Blissey or whatnot. You know, just another kind of pivot you can bring in and get up your hazards or whatnot so you're not a sitting duck. So I really like Clodsire for that reason now. Claude is awesome. Way better than I expected. I mean, I saw the stats at first, but I was kind of fearing that this would be one of those, you know, classic defensive Pokemon that all the advantage gets, like, taken of them. But Claude gets the job done. I'm a fan of him.
Next, we have Wugtrio, which is technically not a Paldean form, but it's clearly a Paldean version of another mon, Dugtrio, who was relevant for many years for being the arena trap Pokemon since Generation 3, and trapping in stuff like Tyranitar and killing it.
After that, he would trap Heatrans, then he got banned because it was just too much, and that was the end of Dugtrio.
Yeah, so we go from that, you know, a mon that gets banned for its amazing ability and trapping the metagame threats to this.
a mon that controlled multiple metagames to whatever this might be. Whatever. I don't understand why they did this with Wugtrio. They couldn't give it one good ability?
Yeah, so, like, why does it have Gooey? And it's already fast, right? Yeah, it's like 120 speed, so why does it need to slow things down? And it also has to get hit to activate.
Yeah, that's my favorite part about this. Gooey and Rattle, two abilities that you need to get hit. 35 HP, 50 defense, 70 Spadef. Who is hitting this guy and not knocking it out the park? I really wish that this mon had something else to him. Because competitively, I would love to use this, because this fits with the design of Claude and the rest. It just looks so goofy. But this thing, I absolutely cannot find any way to use it, bro. Because Dugtrio, right? If Dugtrio didn't have Arena Trap, well, we wouldn't really use it. Its stats are terrible. 100 attack isn't cutting it at all, even if the speed is good. But I really went through Wugtrio's attacks on the physical side, and I mean, I'll tell you what he gets, bro. He has Aqua Jet, even though he's 120 speed. He gets Sucker Punch, like the other Dugtrio. And then he gets Liquidation and Facade for the coverage. Other than that, I guess you can go for Triple Dive.
You got the water version of Triple Axle too.
But it's only 90 base power if you hit all three. Dude, I don't understand Wugtrio. This was just, they were having fun at Game Freak Studios. They said, you know what? If we're going to give one ground type, aka Quag, a new one, let's just give Dugtrio a new one too.
Yeah, let's give Dugtrio a new one.
I've yet to see this used.
I have not seen this mon at all, or, you know, I might have seen it Like when you first jump on the showdown at the beginning of the
The
generation?
first day I played, you remember the dog, right? Houndstone?
Yeah.
The Last Regrets move?
Of course.
So I played a guy, and he had Wugtrio plus Wugtrio, and they both mementoed immediately to power up the dog. So that was the only time I saw Wugtrio. It came out, instantly died, and then that was that. That was the end. Like, that was the end of Wugtrio.
What is your purpose?
I use memento for my bro.
Oh my
That's
god.
his purpose. He's certainly a candidate for most screwed over mon ever, I think.
It's got Final Gambit with an HP base stat of 30.
274 HP Final Gambit's firing off. At least it's fast.
Yeah.
Hold on, I didn't know it got Final Gambit. You may have just done something with that.
Oh,
you may have actually figured out the only thing that you can do with Final Gambit. You may have actually figured it out. I think you figured it out.
Wait, is Excelgor in the dex?
I don't think so. I think it's illegal.
Oh, okay.
This might be the fastest Final Gambiter then.
Oh no.
Yeah, you figured it out. Because this is the strongest. This is the only way Wugtrio can do at least 274 HP damage. There's no other move in his arsenal that's going to do that type of damage. Gotta be Final Gambit. You heard it here first. Frostwipe Gaming. We changed the metagame live.
And finally, we have Toedscruel, which is a Paldean version of Tentacruel, and it's a tentacruel that's on land and also related to mushrooms. Very interesting.
Very interesting lore, yeah. I really love his design, and I think the ability is awesome.
The ability is Mycelium Might, which ensures that all status moves move last, so it's like a reverse prankster.
Basically, yeah, if you use Spore, you always go last. However, this can go through Magic Bounce, and it can go through Golden Go, which is huge. Because Golden Go is a Pokemon that's really annoying, right? It's immune to all the status moves. This thing can go through it, and this can't die to Golden Go by any means. So it's pretty interesting. Same exact stat distribution as Tentacruel, I believe. It has access to Earth Power, Giga Drain, it gets Leaf Storm, so it does have like good stab moves, you know. It gets access to Spikes, gets T-Spikes. I think it still also can Rapid Spin, so he really did get a good amount of moves. You know, Tentacruel usually just had to go with its dual stab, but this guy really has everything. Still has Knockoff, Rapid Spin, Spore, so his support move pool is awesome. The only issue is that Grass Ground typing is pretty mediocre. Like, you're weak to Ice, you're weak to Fire, so a lot of the common attacking types, they kind of own this. We haven't really had a really effective Grass Ground before.
Right, and Tentacruel's typing has historically been pretty good.
Yeah, right. Resisting Fire, resisting Fairy, like, what more can you ask for, you know?
Yeah, and like Gen 5 and stuff, it used Rain Dish.
Oh, yeah, unkillable.
Yeah,
literally,
unkillable.
yeah. There's nothing worse than when you have, like, Terrakion, Keldeo, but they have Tentacruel in the rain, and that thing turns into, like, Kyogre. You just can't kill it no matter what.
Right.
Really what happens every time.
Yeah, but like Tentacruel doesn't get Spore, and Spore is amazing.
Yeah, exactly. No Spore. Doesn't get access to Spikes, which is another incredibly good move. And yeah, I mean, Toedscruel can actually Spore everybody, so that's big. Like, a lot of teams, they rely on Golden Go to do everything for them, right? Block the Rapid Spin, block the Defog, take Will-O-Wisp or whatever. But Toedscruel actually destroys Golden Go in singles. It can Spore it, it can 2-hit KO with Earth Power, it can knock it off if it's Balloon. So I like Toedscruel a lot. Lots of good, like, support options. It's just the typing, I think, really holds it back because it's weak to so many common, like, Pokemon like we were talking about. Right. Qianpao, Qiyu. Ground Grass doesn't give you enough resistances or immunities, unfortunately, in my opinion.
So we're trading, like, useful resistances for, like, way more utility, essentially.
Definitely. And he still gets the right utility, like Rapid Spin. And I've been meaning to try out Toedscruel with, like, a fast set because two of the very, like, common Pokemon currently in the metagame are Great Tusk and Golden Go. At max speed, Great Tusk hits 300 speed, and at max speed, Golden Go hits 293 speed. But Toedscruel's faster than both of them if you run the investment. So I was thinking I might try to make it seem like a faster Toedscruel, run Earth Power, run Leaf Storm. You could end up really surprising a lot of stuff, and you can still get your Spikes, you can still Spore. So that's something I've been meaning to try out. I think it could, you know, have a lot of mileage. Yeah, all in all, Toedscruel's fun. I think it's going to be lower tier, though. I don't think it's going to...
Really, after all that?
Yeah, OU. Yeah, because regardless, I think the typing is, like I said, it just really holds it back. Too many of the common attacking types just can blow this up. Also, it's really weak to U-turn. Like, U-turn from most physical attackers, it destroys this because it's only 65 base defense. So it's hard to find, like, the perfect stat distribution. I'm sure, though, people will figure out, like, the right way to do Toedscruel. And this is definitely a mon that's underrated, in my opinion. He has a purpose. He can do stuff. It's definitely not just, like, some meme. But that's basically Toedscruel. Very excited to see what he can do in lower tiers, though. But I still will be working on him in OU, see what we can figure out. Because Ground Grass are two amazing offensive typings. And usually the issue with those is that on the special side, the moves are weak. But Earth Power is not weak, and neither is Leaf Storm. So we'll see what happens.
All right, cool. I think that's all the Paldean Mons. If you were to rank all of them, Blunder, Well, I think we know who's at the bottom of them, but how would you rank them?
Well, number one is definitely, I think, Claude. I think all around, like, that guy is most likely gonna stay in overused, and then we'll see in VGC how this thing is used. But yeah, in OU, I think Claude is definitely gonna be at the top. And next, I would probably put the Tauros Paldean Fire one, like right below Clodsire, because I think his resistances are really good. Not weak to Stealth Rock, thanks to Fighting type, neutralizing the fire weakness. And Intimidate is awesome, I think, for sure, in this type of metagame. Still fast enough too with the base 100 speed, so having a support mon with good enough speed is good. It also can take out the dual screens. So in general, I think Tauros has a really good spot. It's mainly Tauros' typing, in my opinion, that puts him over Toedscruel. If Toedscruel had a better typing, I think it might have been better than Tauros, because, I mean, they have similar speeds, right?
Right.
But, no, the exact same speed. I really like Tauros' defensive typing, and like I said, the ability to beat Qianpao, beat King Gambit. It can still switch into Chiyu, as long as Chiyu doesn't Psychic, so I like that a lot. A lot easier to bring in Tauros than it is Toedscruel. And then, yeah, Toedscruel's there because, unfortunately, the only guy below Toedscruel is our friend Wugtrio. So I think that's a pretty fair rating. I haven't been able to test out the Tauros Water and the Tauros Normal. I mean, not the Tauros Normal, the Tauros Pure Fighting enough. But I would think Tauros Water is probably tied with Toedscruel, because that one doesn't get Will-O-Wisp. So it's got a lot worse support options if you can't Will-O-Wisp.
Right, and as for Wugtrio, we'll see how the ranking has changed if you start using that final Gambit.
That final Gambit set is going to take off. I don't think we should talk about it too much. It might have a suffocating effect on the metagame. We might have to put that behind wraps.
Fair, yeah. Save it for Worlds, right?
Save it for Worlds. Right before Wolfie goes to his finals match, he's gonna get a call from me, and I'm gonna say, "Bring it out. It's time. Bring it out."